really need to think about this because I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know the first time I heard about Tulsa, but I know I was an adult and I know I didn't learn about it in any type of school. What I want people to know about Black Wall Street is that it existed and it was destroyed.
People need to research and find out what happened with the massacre so they can see and put Black on Wall Street back where it was.
From the evening of May 31st through the afternoon of June 1st, 1921, the Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre was a series of heinous acts and coordinated violent attacks on the Black community in Tulsa's Greenwood district, commonly known as the Black Wall Street. A white vigilante mob was said to have numbered up to 10,000, destroyed 35 square blocks of homes, businesses, schools, and places of worship stretching for more than a mile. Being that there's no record because there was no official investigation, the actual number of deaths is undetermined, but an estimated 300 African Americans were slaughtered. They were under attack from high-powered rifles, machine guns. There are multiple witnesses and reports claiming that planes were used in the attack. Black Wall Street, or the Greenwood District in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was 35 blocks of the most affluent African American district in the United States.
Black-owned businesses, not rented, not leased. They were Black-owned businesses.
And it was the heyday. It was where everybody from the Black community would go because everything that they needed came from that area. Drugstores, restaurants, hotels, cab services, picture shows. Everything you wanted was in that area. So that's where a lot of the Black people would do their shopping and congregate. That's why they called it Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street, or the Greenwood District, was the Black business district in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the businesses were flourishing. O.W. Gurley and J.B. Stratford were pioneers of Black Wall Street. They were the first to own property and construct buildings. They had about 30 to 40 acres, and they sold to Negroes only. In its prime, Black Wall Street had 191 businesses, including 15 doctors. Amongst those 15 doctors, there was Dr. A.C. Jackson, who had been described by one of the Mayo brothers as the most able Negro surgeon in America. Dr. Jackson was killed. There was also a chiropractor, 2 dentists, 3 lawyers, a library, 2 schools, and a hospital, 5 hotels, 31 restaurants, 4 drugstores, 8 doctor's offices, more than 24 grocery stores, and the Dreamland Theater. The Greenwood District was known for being the epicenter of Black entrepreneurship and Black businesses. Leading up to the Tulsa massacre, the town was already on edge. It was described to be a ticking time bomb. There was a high crime rate. The Ku Klux Klan was expanding in the area. There had just been a prison break weeks earlier. To add fuel to the race fire, an explosive article had just been published about African American pimps and their dealings with white women. All of this anger and frustration would spill over to what would be known as the worst civil disturbance in the United States since the Civil War. What was the catalyst of the massacre was an incident that happened between 19-year-old Dick Rowland, who was a shoe shine in the Greenwood District, and a white elevator operator who was 17 by the name of Sarah Page. No one knows exactly what happened on that elevator besides Sarah Page and Dick Rowland, but Sarah screamed, Dick ran, and he was subsequently arrested on sexual assault charges. While Rowland was in police custody, a white vigilante mob gathered outside demanding the sheriff hand him over to be lynched. After a group of African American men got wind of the news, they armed themselves, they hopped in their automobiles, and they went down to the courthouse to offer their assistance to protect Dick Rowland. This action was said to infuriate the mob, sending them into a frenzy for what they had dubbed the Negro Uprising. There was an exchange between the armed blacks and the white mob, and that kicked off the 2-day massacre in Tulsa's Greenwood District. Eyewitnesses recall that when dawn came at 5:08 a.m., an unusual whistle or siren was sounded, and then the attack began.
And so they've been trying to make it come back for years, but it's never reached that potential since.
It will never be what it was before.
I was the first person that actually put a restaurant back on Greenwood. It's where Fat Guys is now.
Unfortunately, no one was ever held responsible. There was never any accountability for the murders and the arson that took place. The official damage was estimated at $1.5 million. The black community filed more than $4 million in claim, all of which were denied, except for one. The National Guard made an effort to rid itself of Klan members. In his memoirs, J.B. Stratford, one of the pioneers of Black Wall Street, recalled the guards acted like wild men. The militia had been ordered to take charge, but instead they joined the rioters. There were lots of events that took place in the wake of the massacre in Tulsa. Sarah Page had never given police an official report of the alleged rape. Sarah Page refused to press charges against Dick Rowland. Dick Rowland was safely slipped out of town. He had his day in court 4 months later, where he was exonerated and eventually freed. This documentary was created to enlighten and inform, and to honor those that lost their lives and everything in the massacre in Tulsa, 1921.